All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to look at the architectural blueprint of one of the world's biggest faiths. I mean, how do you even begin to build a spiritual life? Well, for more than 1 billion Muslims, the answer is built on just five foundational pillars. So let's get into it.
And this is where it all comes from. Our entire guide for this is this one core teaching, a hadith, which is a saying of the Prophet Muhammad. And it's so simple. Islam is built upon five. Now, that's not just a list, right? It's a statement of design. It tells you right away that faith isn't just a random bunch of ideas, but a structure, a building that's been carefully planned out. And this is the magic number that holds the whole thing together. 5. That's it. Not 50, not 100, just 5 core supports that are designed to hold up the entire structure of a Muslim's life and worship. So the big question is, what are they?
Well, just like any good builder, we're going to start at the very bottom with the absolute bedrock. And this first part, it's not even an action. It's a declaration. It's the core belief that everything else, and I mean everything, is built on top of. This is it. It's called the Shahada. You know, it's often the very first thing whispered into a newborn baby's ear, and it's the last thing a person hopes to say before they pass. But it is so much more than just a phrase. It's really the central access for the entire faith. It's the key that opens the door.
Now, what's really interesting is that this foundation is actually made of 2 parts. First, you have the belief in the absolute oneness of God, and second, you have the belief in the message that was brought by his prophet. And here's the crucial part. It's a dual act. You have to say it with your tongue, but you also have to believe it, truly, in your heart. One without the other, it's just incomplete.
Okay, so the foundation is laid. It's solid. Now we can start building up. The next 3 pillars aren't about what you believe, they're about what you do. These are the pillars of action, the things that bring the whole structure of faith to life.
And the logic here is just so clear when you see it all laid out. Each pillar is a different kind of test, a different kind of worship. You've got prayer, or salat, which is purely physical. It's about the discipline of the body, connecting to God 5 times a day. Then you have zakat, or charity. That's financial. It tests your ability to give away something you really love and work so hard for, your money. And then there's fasting, which is all about abstinence, about holding back from the things your body really wants. Let's look a little closer at this, because the symmetry here is fascinating. Zakat tests you through giving, while or fasting, tests you through withholding. Think about that. One is an active release, the other is an active restraint. Both of them are about your relationship with the stuff you love. It just goes to show you, this is a pretty sophisticated way of looking at human nature. Devotion gets tested from all angles.
So we've laid our foundation. We've put up the main pillars of action. Now, it's time for the final piece. This is the element that really brings it all together. This is the capstone, the pilgrimage, or the Hajj. The Hajj is totally unique among the pillars. Why? Because it's the only one that is explicitly both a physical and a financial act of worship. You have to have the physical strength for the journey and the rituals, and you have to have the financial means to even get there. It's this comprehensive, all-in-one capstone that basically integrates the tests of the other pillars into one single, monumental, life-changing experience. So we've seen all 5 pillars, and that brings us to the ultimate question, right? What's the wisdom behind this specific design? Why not just one big act of worship? Why this variety? Let's take a look at the grand design to see how it all works together to build a complete spiritual test. And here it is. This is the core reason, drawn from centuries of Islamic scholarship. The diversity isn't random, it's totally on purpose. The idea is to create a complete, a holistic test of a person's faith. It tests what you say, what you believe, how you use your body, what you do with your money, and what you stop yourself from doing. It covers every single aspect of life. It shapes everything. And so, here it is, the final blueprint. You've got the testimony as the foundation of belief, then prayer, charity, and fasting as 3 separate pillars of devotion, sacrifice, and self-control. And finally, the pilgrimage, the capstone that brings it all together. And when you put them all in place, you get a complete, stable, and resilient structure for a life of faith. So this brings us to one last thought. This entire framework, this blueprint, it was laid out over 1,400 years ago, which makes you wonder, in our crazy modern world full of distractions, how does this ancient 5-part structure continue to shape the daily lives, the big decisions, and the spiritual well-being of millions of people all over the planet today? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us.